office of the Always Believe House. Need to come by at Christmas because this place is going to rock. It has an Always Believe Hall of Fame that will be going up the weekend of Halloween. So let's get started. We're going to solve systems by elimination. We're going to continue this today. Yesterday, you learned how to eliminate one of the variables, okay? When we eliminated one of the variables, we could solve for one of the variables and then go in the other column and get the other. And remember, your answer is the ordered pair where the two lines cross. Now then, yesterday, we started off where one of them were opposites. You want to make either the X or Y opposites and then add straight down and eliminate. Then you had to change the sign of one of them to eliminate. And then you had to multiply either the top or the bottom equation by a number to make one of the X's or Y's eliminate. In today's lesson, we'll have to multiply both equations to get an opposite. So that's what you're going to learn today. We're going to do the same thing, except we're going to multiply. At the end, we'll be multiplying the top and the bottom. So let's get going. Let's do number one. Notice on number one, I'm starting you off where you're going to have to multiply one of the equations. I think on 1 to 6, you got to multiply one of the equations. So let's look at number one. The 10 will, first off, what's the biggest number in your X's? It's the 20, right? What's the opposite of negative 20? So if I were to go over here, my biggest X is negative 20. Its opposite is plus 20, right? I could multiply that 10 by 2 to get the plus 20, couldn't I? Go to the right. What's your biggest Y? It's a negative 5. The 2 won't go into negative 5, will it? So I need to eliminate my X. Before I do that, let's write down the top equation. The 10's a little bit smaller than the 20. That's why I'm doing this. Remember, write down one of the equations to the right. Now then, I'm going to multiply the top equation by 2 because that's going to make my X opposite. You're trying to either make your X opposite or your Y opposite. Since 10 goes into 20, I'm going to eliminate my X's. Now then, I'm going to blue bell truck that 2, and I'm going to multiply the top equation by 2. So 20X minus 10Y equals 50. I'm not changing the second equation, am I? So I'm just going to rewrite it, negative 20X plus 2Y equals 6. Everyone see what I just did? So I multiplied the top equation by 2, and I rewrote the second one. Now then, my X's are opposites, right? Whenever you get one of the letters opposite, draw a bar, and you're going to add and go straight down. So the X's eliminate. Negative 10 plus 2 is negative 8Y. If you miss one sign, it's all wrong. Equals 50 plus 6 is 56. Divide by negative 8, and you get Y equals negative 7. I think I kept all of this worksheet. All of the answers are integers, I believe. I think they're all integers. Okay, I'll post the key. It's a little bit simple. If they start getting decimals, it gets kind of freaky. Okay, so I think I kept them all integers. Now then, we're going to take this Y and we're going to plug it right in here, aren't we? So on the left column, I found X, and the right column, the left column, I found Y. The right column, I'm going to get X. You're going to do that every time. Or you're vice versa, one letter in one letter in the other. So write down 10X minus 5 parentheses equals 25, and I'm going to take that negative 7 and put it in there. Now then, 10X, a negative 5 times a negative 7 is a plus 35 equals 25. I'm going to take the 35 and move it across. So 10X equals 25 minus 35 is a negative 10. Better be good with your integers here. Thank that 6th grade math teacher for teaching you integers. Divide by 10, and you get X equals negative 1. So the ordered pair would be negative 1 comma negative 7. If you put that ordered pair into both equations, it makes them true. Okay? Pretty cool stuff. Okay, let's go down 1 to 6. I believe 1 to 6, on problems 1 to 6, you're going to have to multiply one equation. Now then, go to number 7. Okay, on number 7, what's your biggest X? It's negative 9X, right? So I'm going to go over here on the left. Let's put X and Y over here. So I'm going to go to the left and put negative 9. My 5 won't go into 9, will it? Won't work. Now then, let's go to the Y. The biggest Y is negative 8. The 5 won't go into 8, will it? So this is what we're going to have to do. What's the smallest number that 5 and 9 go into? The smallest number that 5 and 9 go into, put a little bitty 45 up here. I need to make one of them a positive 45 and one of them a negative 45. And then the 45s will cancel. Are y'all clicking? It's kind of like adding fractions. You're getting the LCM, the least common multiple. Now then, what about 8 and 5? 8 and 5, the smallest number they go into is 40 in it. So put a little bitty 40 up here. Now then, I usually pick the number that's smaller. So in this case, I'm going to go with the 40. So I'm going to make one of the y's positive 40 and one of the y's negative 40. If I make one of them positive and negative 40, the y's will eliminate. So for number 7 down, you're going to have to multiply both equations. Okay? Now then on this one, this is harder because none of them have opposite signs. Usually it's a little bit better to do the opposite signs. On this one, we're going to have to multiply one by positive and one by negative. I would multiply the smallest number by the negative. So let's put 2 parentheses. What do I multiply 8 by to get 40? I'm going to multiply by 5, right? What do I multiply 5 by to get 40? I'm going to multiply by 8. Which number is smaller, the 8 or the 5? The 5 smaller, so I'm going to put that as a negative. So I'm going to multiply the top equation by negative 5, the bottom equation by positive 8, and then my y's will end up being a positive 40 and a negative 40, and I can eliminate the y's. Piece of cake. It's just like adding a fraction to getting a common denominator. You're getting the LCM, but you're making them opposites. So let's go through and multiply. I'm going to distribute a negative 5 to this equation. Negative 5 times negative 5 is a positive 25x. If you want to put the plus, you can. Negative 5 times negative 8 is a plus 40y. If you miss one of these signs, it's all wrong. A negative 5 times a negative or positive 1 is a negative 5. You need to get every single sign number right. Now then, let's go to the next one. We're going to distribute 8, aren't we? So on this one, a positive 8 times a negative 9 is a negative 72x. A positive 8 times a negative 5 is a negative 40y. Notice my y's are opposites. Equals 8 times negative 17, you're lucky Mr. Toops comes with a built-in calculator. 80 plus 56 is 136. That's going to be negative 136. Now then, my y's are opposites, aren't they? Once you get an opposite, draw a bar and you're going to add and go straight down. So positive 25 minus 72, you may need to break out a calculator here. That is going to be 47. So negative 47x equals negative 141. Negative 5 minus 136, you add and keep the sign. Now then, the y's eliminate. We're going to divide by negative 47, and it divides out, doesn't it? It's going to end up being 3 in it. So my x is 3. Notice that these numbers might get bigger when you multiply both. Now then, I forgot to do this, but I'm going to write down the top equation because the 1 is smaller than 17. So negative 5x minus 8y equals 1. My x is 3, so I'm going to take that 3 and plug it right in here, aren't I? So negative 5 parentheses minus 8y equals 1, and I'm going to put the 3 in there, aren't I? Now then, just do the arithmetic. Negative 15 minus 8y equals 1. Move that 15 across. I'm going to get negative 8y equals 16. Divide by negative 8. And you get x equals negative 2. So y. Jiminy crickets. We have 8y, don't we? So my answer is going to be y equal negative 2. Now then, write down the ordered pair. The ordered pair would be x comma y or 3 comma negative 2. And what happens at 3 comma negative 2? The two lines will intersect. If you keep doing this, you will get quicker. The stronger you are with your integers, the quicker this will go. If you're having to use the calculator, this will take time. Use the calculator so you don't mess up. If you mess up on one sign or one number, everything below that is wrong. I believe all of these work out to be integers, and I tried to keep them small for you. Let's go down, turn the page, and let's go to, I'll do 2 more for you. Let's go to number 13. Okay, on number 13, what's the smallest number 6 and 10 go into? Okay, think about that. What's the smallest number 6 and 10 go into? They both go into 30, so put a little bitty 30 up here. What's the smallest number 3 and 2 go into? They both go into 6, don't they? So ding, 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 pick the 6, right? Also notice that the x and y are opposite signs, so we don't have to multiply by a negative, do we? So we need to make the y's both 6's, don't we? So I need to multiply the top equation by 2 and the bottom equation by 3. The top equation will end up with a plus 6y, the bottom equation will be a minus 6y, and my y's will be opposites. Remember, you're trying to make your x's or y's opposites. So now let's start multiplying. So I'm going to distribute 2, and I'm going to get 12x plus 6y equals 6. Now then I'm going to go down to the bottom and distribute 3. It's a little bit easier when you don't distribute a negative because the signs won't change. 3 times negative 10 is negative 30x. 3 times negative 2 is a negative 6y equals negative 60. Now then, are my y's opposites? Once you get the y's opposites or x's opposites, draw a bar and add and go straight down. 12 minus 30 is negative 18. If you can't do that in your brain, punch 12 minus 30 on a calculator and hit enter. And then 6 minus 60 is negative 54. Divide by negative 18, and 18 goes into 54 3 times. 2 negatives make a positive, right? If you miss one sign, it's all wrong. Now then, I forgot to do this, but go to the top. I would pick this one. The numbers are smaller, right? 6x plus 3y equals 3. I know x, so I'm going to plug in for that x, aren't I? Oh, what a blast. So 6 parentheses plus 3y equals 3. And what am I going to plug into that x? I'm going to plug in the 3, right? Now I'll only have a y. I can solve for y. 3 times 16 is 18 plus 3y equals 3. Move over the 18. If you have trouble with integers, this is going to be harder. If you could do the integer work, this should be not that difficult. 3y equals negative 15, divide by 3, and you're going to get y equals negative 5. So my order pair is going to be x comma y, which will be 3 comma negative 5. What happens at 3 negative 5? The two lines will intersect. Oh. Now then, remember, what happens when you eliminate and both of the x and y both eliminate? It's either going to be no solution or infinitely many solution, right? Some of the problems on this worksheet will do that. I'm going to do one more for you. Let's go down to, let's go down to 17, because we're going to have to, multiply 1 by a negative. If you got to multiply 1 by a negative, it's a little bit harder. Okay, so on 17, what you want to do first is put your LCM above the x and the y. So what's the LCM of 8 and 10? The smallest number they both go into is 40. I got to multiply 1 by 5 and 1 by 4, don't I? Now then, look at the 4 and 9. The smallest number they go into is 36. I would pick the smaller LCM. So we're going to choose 36. Notice that they're both negative, so I got to multiply 1 by a positive and 1 by a negative, and I better get every single sign and number right. So I'm going to put 2 parentheses, and I want to get these to be 36. So 4 times 9 is 36, so I need to multiply this one by 9, and I need to multiply that 9 by 4. Which one's smaller, the 4 or the 9? The 4, I'm going to multiply that by a negative. Okay, so when I multiply by 9 and 4, I'm going to make one y a negative 36y and one y plus 36y. They will eliminate. Now they go straight across, and we're going to bluebell truck. So we're going to bluebell truck the 9, and then I'm going to multiply. 9 times 8 is 72x. 9 times negative 4 is negative 36y. Sign, number, letter, right? Equals 9 times negative 16 is a negative. 6 times 9 is 54. 9 times 10 is 50. 54 plus 90 is 144. Mr. Toops rocks. Built-in calculator. Oh. If you cannot do 9 times 16 in your brain, you got to use a calculator. Let's go to the bottom. We're going to multiply by negative 4, right? We have to get every single sign number right. A negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 10 is 40. My letter is x. Sign, number, letter. I'm still doing sign, number, letter, aren't I? Now then the next one. A negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 9 is 36y. My y's are opposites now, aren't they? And negative 4 times 20 is negative 80. Since my y's are opposites, Okay, I'm going to draw a bar and I'm going to add and go straight down. 72 minus 40 is 32x equals negative 144 minus 80. I'm going to add and keep the sign. That's going to be negative 224. And then what do I need to multiply that by? 8, 9, 7. 7 is going to work. So if I divide both of these by 32, 32 times 7 is 224. It's not going to be a positive. It's going to be a negative 7. So my x is negative 7. Now that I'm going to go to the top and pick one of the equations, right? Should be doing this right off the bat. I'm forgetting. I would probably pick the top one. It has smaller numbers to it. So let's go over here. You can pick either one. 8x minus 4y equals negative 16. I found x in the left column. I'm going to get y in the right column, aren't I? I'm going to replace that x with negative 7, aren't I? So 8 parentheses minus 4y equals 16. And what will I put in for the x? I'm going to put the negative 7 in, aren't I? Now then, just go through and do the math. You might need to use a calculator. 8 times negative 7 is negative 56. Minus 4y equals 16. I'm going to move the 56 over and divide by 4. So the opposite of minus 56 is plus 56. Negative 4y equals 72. Divide by negative 4. Y equals negative 18. That's a pretty big number. So my ordered pair would be negative 7 comma negative 18. If I were to put that x and y in the equations, it would be both of them would work. And remember, you're finding the ordered pair where those two lines cross. Remember, if the x's and y's eliminate, the answer will be infinitely many solutions if it's true, or it will be no solution if it's false. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you for being wonderful students and getting your work turned in. Hopefully this is getting easier. I gave you enough problems where you can get the repetition to get this down. Remember, you are amazing. You were created to do wonderful things. Enjoy your 17 seconds of Zen at the end of this. Always believe in yourself. Never ever stop believing you can do things. And you are awesome.